On June 25, 2009, the world was shocked when Michael Jackson, the king of pop, died at his Los Angeles mansion at the age of 50. He had been preparing for his This Is It comeback tour, which fans believed would mark his grand return to the stage. His sudden death was ruled as acute propofol and benzodiazepine intoxication given by his doctor, Dr. Conrad Murray, who was later convicted of involuntary manslaughter. Michael's death was heartbreaking for millions, but for those close to him, it also carried a strange sense that he was not completely gone. Relatives later admitted that in the Jackson family home in Encino, California, eerie things began happening after his death. They claimed to hear Michael's footsteps and humming, as though he was still rehearsing or dancing in the halls. One family member even said it felt like he was checking in on them. Close friends like Elizabeth Taylor, before her own passing, claimed she felt his presence in the days following his death. She said she could sense Michael's energy when she was alone, as if he was trying to comfort those who loved him. Michael's daughter Paris Jackson once revealed that she believed her father's spirit visited her. She claimed to hear him watching over her, sometimes even through signs like birds or lights flickering. For Paris, his ghost was a protective force. Fans across the world have claimed to see Michael's ghost at concerts, hotels, and theaters. Psychics and mediums have also said that Michael's spirit tries to reach out, often speaking about how much he misses his children. Some even believe he lingers in places he once performed, like the Staples Center in Los Angeles, where his memorial was held. Macaulay Culkin, Michael's close friend, once hinted in interviews that he still talks to Michael in his own way. While he didn't say directly that he saw a ghost, his words suggested he feels Michael's spirit around him. Some ghost enthusiasts believe Michael's spirit lingers not just with family, but also around his music, guarding it. Rumors spread that recording studios where Michael worked sometimes experienced unexplained sounds, microphones picking up faint humming, or headphones buzzing with a whisper of his voice when no one was singing. Katherine Jackson often woke in the dark, sensing Michael standing in her bedroom doorway. The air thickened with his familiar cologne, pressing against her lungs. Once, while she prayed for him, cold lips touched her cheek as if he kissed her goodnight. Joe Jackson confessed weeks before his death that he heard Michael's voice whisper through the walls, hissing, "I forgive you." The words weren't gentle. They slithered like echoes from another world, a haunting reminder of unresolved father and son pain. Janet Jackson walked through her mansion late at night and froze when a childlike giggle, sharp and playful, erupted behind her. She turned, only to find the hallway empty. The laughter continued, drifting like smoke, following her into silence. LaToya Jackson cried one night, her body trembling with grief. The lights above her began flickering, rhythmically, in sync with her sobs. The electricity hummed violently, then steadied, as though Michael himself had answered her sadness with his ghostly presence. Jermaine Jackson sat in his studio, replaying old tracks of Michael's. Suddenly, speakers clicked on and off. Microphones crackled with static. The air turned icy. He swore he heard Michael humming in the dark, teasing him through broken equipment. Randy Jackson stayed overnight at Katherine's home and saw a slim figure glide across the hall. Its shadow lingered against the wall, long and thin, walking with Michael's signature grace. When Randy rushed forward, the shape vanished into blackness. Rebby Jackson prayed alone one evening when she felt a hand, icy, yet soft, press against her shoulder. She spun around, trembling, but no one stood behind her. Her heart froze, realizing Michael had touched her from beyond the grave. Tito Jackson sat in his private music room and was startled by sudden rhythmic taps across the floor. The sound matched Michael's moonwalk steps. Yet Tito was alone. The tapping grew faster, echoing through the empty walls until silence suffocated him. Paris Jackson awoke suddenly to see a glowing figure at the end of her bed. Its face was blurred, but the stance, the hair, the aura, it was her father. He stood there silently, watching her with hollow eyes. Prince Jackson put on headphones, but they weren't connected to anything. Suddenly, Michael's voice poured into his ears, singing, "You are not alone." Terrified, he ripped them off, but the faint melody still whispered around the empty room. Blanket, now BG, told relatives he woke to Michael standing over him. The figure smiled kindly, but when Blanket blinked, Michael's body began fading like smoke. A warm hand brushed his face before the phantom disappeared into silence. At the Encino family home, footsteps echoed late at night. Shadows crawled along the walls. Faint singing, soft, familiar, drifted from Michael's old room. Family members refused to sleep alone, convinced his ghost still wandered the corridors of the house. During a family gathering, candles lit for Michael flickered violently as his name was spoken. The flames bent toward one another, then extinguished all at once. The room sank into darkness, as if Michael had arrived to listen in silence. The night of Michael's funeral, Catherine whispered prayers by his resting place. Suddenly, a cold breeze swept across her face. Then, she felt the pressure of lips brush her cheek. Her knees buckled as she realized Michael had kissed her goodbye. When relatives visited Neverland, they felt eyes watching them from upstairs windows. Curtains swayed though the air was still. Some swore they saw Michael's silhouette moving past his bedroom, the figure pausing to look down before melting back into shadow. Diana Ross practiced alone and froze when her own song harmonized with another voice, Michael's. It was faint, almost desperate, but perfectly in tune. She dropped her microphone and ran. Swearing the sound followed her long after leaving the room. Brooke Shields woke in the night, her room thick with the unmistakable smell of Michael's cologne. It lingered heavily, choking her throat. No one else was in the house. Tears filled her eyes as she realized his ghost was near. Debbie Rowe admitted that when Michael's children visited, her home grew icy cold. Whispers slithered through the hallways, too faint to understand. At times, she heard footsteps pacing her living room, only to find it empty. Michael's spirit refused to leave. Corey Feldman told of nights when depression crushed him, and suddenly, Michael's voice seemed to whisper reassurance into his ear. The words were muffled, but the comfort was undeniable. It felt like Michael's ghost was protecting him from despair. Chris Tucker laughed on a set, then froze when another laugh, identical to Michael's high-pitched chuckle, erupted from the empty corner of the room. It grew louder, echoing. Crew members looked terrified. The laughter stopped abruptly, leaving suffocating silence in its wake. During Oprah Winfrey's televised tribute to Michael, strange malfunctions disrupted the broadcast. Microphones hissed, cameras cut, lights flickered violently. The timing was unnatural, almost deliberate. Oprah later admitted she felt as though Michael's spirit had intruded to remind the world of him. Stevie Wonder recalled being alone in a studio, feeling a sudden presence at his back. A voice, unmistakably Michael's, called his name. He froze, blind but certain. The voice faded, replaced by silence and an overwhelming sense of being watched. Lisa Marie Presley revealed that Michael came to her in dreams, whispering apologies for their broken marriage. The dream was so vivid, she woke sobbing. But the next night, the same voice whispered again, directly into her ear while awake. Brooke Shields confessed that during a stage performance, she felt a hand grip hers tightly. No one stood beside her. She nearly fainted, certain Michael's ghost had climbed onto the stage to hold her one last time. Sadhana Thompson said that in hotels, she always felt Michael behind her, soft breathing, a warm presence brushing against her neck. Once, she turned quickly and saw a fleeting shadow vanish into the corner. Michael's ghost lingered, drawn to her. Shauna Mangadel believed his ghost appeared whenever she played Michael's unreleased songs. The room thickened with cold, as though filled with unseen eyes. She heard faint humming layered beneath the music. She knew he was there, still guarding his secrets. Madonna once admitted she saw flashes of Michael's face in the shadows backstage before a concert. His pale figure flickered, smiling for an instant before melting away. She stepped on stage shaking, certain Michael's ghost had followed her performance. Security guards at the Staples Center swore they saw a slim shadow cross the stage. The figure paused, as if rehearsing. When guards shone their flashlights, the stage was empty, but the faint sound of tapping shoes echoed across it. Fans gathered at Michael's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame reported orbs floating near the plaque. Some captured glowing shapes on camera. One fan fainted after hearing a whisper in her ear. "Thank you for remembering me." Visitors to Forest Lawn Cemetery spoke of faint singing near Michael's tomb. The voice carried the softness of a lullaby. Mourners broke down, convinced Michael's spirit sang to them from beyond, trapped within the cold stone walls of his grave. Hotels where Michael once stayed became plagued with strange reports. Guests described hearing humming at midnight, always the melody of Billie Jean. When they opened their doors, the hallways were empty, yet the song continued, echoing faintly through the darkness. Recording engineers in Michael's studios often caught phantom sounds, tapping feet, breaths caught in microphones, faint hums. At night, lights flickered above the console. Some believed Michael's ghost had returned to keep recording, refusing to abandon his unfinished music. The Los Angeles mansion where Michael died became unbearable. Residents described cold spots crawling across their skin, doors slamming shut, mirrors fogging with handprints. The air felt heavy with sorrow, as if Michael's last breath lingered in every corner. Neverland's private theater flickered with sudden light at night, projectors turning on by themselves. Seats creaked as if an invisible audience waited. Music played faintly, though no system was connected. Michael's ghost seemed to haunt his stage, unwilling to let it end. In dance studios he once practiced in, mirrors fogged suddenly with handprints. Dancers reported seeing a blurred reflection behind them, moving in rhythm to steps. They turned, but the room was empty. Michael's ghost danced with them from beyond. Flight attendants on planes Michael once traveled claimed to hear faint singing from first-class cabins. When they checked, the seats were empty. One swore the voice sang, "Man in the Mirror," disappearing the moment she stepped inside. At London's O2 Arena, where This Is It was planned, staff said they heard Beat It faintly playing through empty corridors at night. Security patrols froze as footsteps echoed on stage, though the arena was locked and completely dark. Fans at tribute concerts swore they saw Michael's silhouette in the stage lights. It danced gracefully, matching the music, before vanishing. The crowd screamed in terror and awe, believing the King of Pop had returned for one final performance. Leonardo DiCaprio admitted he once saw Michael's reflection in a hotel mirror in Paris. The shadow swayed, moonwalking slowly before fading into the glass. Leo fled, shaken, insisting the ghost wanted him to remember his art. Beyoncé once confessed that while practicing a tribute to him, studio mirrors fogged suddenly. Words appeared in condensation. "Keep dancing." Chills went through everyone. She knew it was Michael's unseen hand guiding her from beyond. Kanye West revealed in a hushed interview that while producing Late at Night, speakers crackled with Michael's voice. A haunting, he filled the room, though no track played. He froze, shaken by the ghostly approval. Whitney Houston once whispered to a friend that Michael visited her in a dream, but it felt real. He touched her hand, cold as ice, and said, "It's not over." She awoke screaming, shaking uncontrollably. Usher broke down after swearing Michael visited him on stage. During a tribute, he felt icy fingers touch his shoulder, though no one stood there. He struggled to keep singing, shaken by the haunting closeness. Celine Dion spoke of her Las Vegas dressing room becoming unbearably cold before shows dedicated to Michael. She claimed she often heard faint tapping, like shoes hitting the stage floor, echoing endlessly from the empty hallway. Will I once stayed late in the studio and heard a phantom voice correcting his lyrics. No, not like that. He turned, horrified, as the microphone recorded faint humming in Michael's unmistakable pitch. Lisa Marie Presley, his former wife, claimed Michael's ghost once appeared in her home. She awoke to see him sitting silently in a chair, staring. His eyes were glassy, sad. Then he faded before she could speak. Even after death, Michael Jackson's spirit seems restless, drifting between friends, relatives, and even Hollywood's brightest stars. His ghostly presence lingers like unfinished music, a reminder that legends never truly die, but instead haunt the world they once ruled.